you tired of the typical libraries with conventional music that makes you feel meh? Introducing Leerecs.com, the music website made for and by minds like you. Our team are lifelong musicians and producers in love with music. Search the Leerecs music catalogs and find music with guaranteed originality. Mark the difference with music of signature at Leerecs.com.
I want it all. This is an iconic band. Never better said. This is IKONIK, the band, hard rock band born in melting pot of New York City, and we have this blistering bassist, John with us today. Hi, John. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Wonderful. I'm really happy to have you on with
us.
Thanks
for having me.
Oh, thank you. So, IKONIK. This sound is so powerful, and you know this song is really incredible, and the vocals, everything about it. So, I would like you to please take the floor and introduce yourself and your band.
Well, I appreciate it. My name is John Ricco. I'm the bassist of the band IKONIK. I want it all. It's a great song. We've worked on that one for quite a while. We're excited to get it out and to get it heard. It's a fun song, a lot of energy, and it really, you really rip the crowd apart with it live.
Yeah, I mean, it's like sympathetic magic. Like you want to visualize it, and the better way is to write it down. Even if you make it a song, much powerful, much more powerful.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Okay.
No, I agree. I mean, the whole song was, listen, the lyrics are fun. It's just a straight fun rocking song, and it gets to the point of, just really getting out there and, taking what you want and making it happen for yourself. And, we love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Make everything possible and try as many times as you need. Okay, so... from here, your biography is saying that all of your members were really 6 degrees of separation apart until you got together to play and create this wonderful band. Tell us a little bit of that, the beginning of the story of your band.
Yeah, I mean, that's dead on. It's true. Like I like to tell a lot of people, finding members to play with or finding a band that clicks, it's just magical. And it happens rarely. I played with a lot of people over my life. And, the way IKONIK came together was my guitarist is also like my best friend. And there's always me and my guitar player. His name's Rux. He does all the guitars for IKONIK. And, we always, we wanted to put a band together. We would try out all these other guys, drummers, singers. It never really worked, so we always had the guitar and the bass. And then, one day I met this drummer, Duncan, and, I'm watching him play and he's doing things with his right foot that made me think he had a double bass kick going. And I'm looking over the back of the bass drum and I'm watching this guy's foot fire like nothing I've ever seen. And I'm like, all right, this guy's mine. Like this guy's playing with us. So, we got Duncan and, through another bunch of friends, I got introduced to Jason Castor, who's our singer, whose father is actually, his father is actually a platinum artist from the '70s named Jimmy Castor. He's one of the founding fathers of like funk and rap.
Yeah.
So he's got the he just got it all from a family side, and we played one time together in the rehearsal room, and it just exploded. And it's just the only way to describe it. It's hard to describe, but when you feel it, it's like falling in love. Like we had these songs, we had these rhythms, and he just started singing over them right at the spot, and it was just. Yeah, the room lit up, and when the four of us kind of walked out of there, I'm being like, "All right, this is it, let's go." And you feel like it's never going to happen. That's the struggle, you go years and years and years of hoping that you can find, guys that you click with and that you can really make music with, because it's interesting. I say this a lot. You could put the 4 or 5 most talented guys in a room together, but it could sound like shit. Like there's something mystical and magical to putting together the 4 guys that complement each other, and it just you take the 4 parts, and the music becomes greater than the 4 of you. And I feel like it took me years to find that, and I found it with these guys. And then that was the beginning. And then we started playing around New York City, and we start really taking off. We're being followed by like tons of major record labels, and it's just a different time in the world when that stuff actually mattered before you could do it all on your own. And it's been an interesting ride, But being in a band, it's a marriage. I joke around about that too. It really is. You're married to these 4 different guys and their personalities, and you got to make it work, because it's worth it when it does.
Absolutely, it's all vibration and. Like you said, it doesn't matter the quality. You can put together most talented players, but if that vibration, if that connection is not happening, the synergy is not there, and you gotta find it, you gotta pursue it, and it looks like you do.
You gotta pursue it.
Yeah, it looks like you do.
And that's like, that's the thing that I tell people who are younger who are going for it. You'll know it when you feel it. Like the room should explode. Like you guys should be looking at each other when you're done and being like, "Wow, like what was that?" And then you keep trying to capture it.
When you can enjoy what's happening in that room with that music, and you kind of like, it's like an extrasensory, like an extra body experience out of yourself, and be able to. It is. It becomes an out of body experience, and it's the thing is, it's like. It's yours. It's your music, and you got to play it for each other. And that's the thing. Like the 4 of us, like we love it, and it's our hope that we get it out to everybody, and everybody loves it too. Because we played for ourselves. We think it's great, and it's just it's just amazing. So the first time we did it, I'll never forget just sitting there playing some like just basic riffs to these songs, and before you know it, like the 4 of us like bouncing off walls, and I was like, wow, all right, this is it. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. So you got an amazing singer, right?
Yeah, he's incredible.
Child of a star, a soul star, saxophone, soul.
They called him the E-Man. They called him the E-Man because he played everything. I mean, he was phenomenal talent. If you like I said, he's kind of credited, with founding, being like the forefathers of, like early pioneers of like rap, and like, his funk work was incredible. He's just a man.
Amazing. So how does it feel? Like what is it? What's outstanding? What's incredible about it? How do you describe it? How do the experience?
So, I mean, if I could get to like what blows me away about my singer, and I joke around, I think I'm like the biggest fan of the 4 of us, is that my guitar, the way we write music is just always blew me away, because there's just no lack of it. We have hundreds of songs that we already have, countless of riffs ready to go, and what we would do is my guitar player for the most part comes up with the riffs. We'll play them together. And as the bassist, I'll jump along and I'll tie into what he's doing, and my drummer will drop a beat. And before you know, we have the basics of a song. And Jay will just look. He'll just look at it, he'll listen, and he'll be like, all right. And he'll run out the room and be like, I'll be back in 5 minutes. And he comes back in, and half the stuff that you hear on our songs is what he came back with within 5 minutes.
That's amazing.
So, like, we'll be sitting there, like, for example, for I Want It All, I mean, that chorus of, like, I want it all, the jewels of money, the cars of fame, every single neighborhood to know my name, like, he wrote that in under 5 minutes. Like, and he just came back in a room and he starts chanting this over it. And like with the three of us are just sitting there like, holy shit, like how did he pull this out? Like where does he go to get this?
Wow.
And that's what feels like, from a writing music and that sort of perspective, like we can all write riffs and we could all put together drum beats. And so that doesn't blow my mind as much because it's something like, the three of us can do. But man, I have no idea how people put lyrics to music like that. And then to tell a story. And that's the one thing I think our songs have that a lot of, other hard rock bands really might not. If you listen to the lyrical content of a lot of the songs, I mean, they're incredible. Like, I Want It All is pretty straightforward. We have a new song that was just released last month called Believe, which is really about, like, believing in yourself in these, weird times from, like, COVID to now, which, threw everybody for a loop. And, like, staying to your core and believing who you are. We have a song coming out at the end of October called Out of Line, and that song's incredible. So you got to listen to that when that comes out. That song is really about, just getting rid of people and getting out of situations that really don't serve you anymore.
Oh, that's so true.
It's about betrayal.
That is so true.
Yeah, it is. And there's a lot of these. I mean, I could keep going. Like our first single, Go, which, was really the more rock rap type of a song, was just a male version of a breakup. And the best song out of all of them, in my opinion, for lyrics is there's a song called On My Own, which was one of our first releases. And all this stuff's on Spotify, so your listeners can check it out.
Okay.
But that song is seriously just being about on your own and, and being lonely and, how do you survive when you feel like it's you get into a situation and when you're down in your life and you realize it's just you. And you're on your own, and that's what always blew me away. So, like, for me, as like when I used to listen to music when I was younger, it's like you pulled out a vinyl album or you had something, and you sat with the song and you listened to the music, and then you read the lyrics, and then this song meant so much more to you. And I feel like a lot of that is lost just in the way people consume music today. It's so quick, it's so fast, it's out there. You download, it's out there. You listen to it on Spotify, and you move on to the next thing, but if you take the time to listen to some of these songs, and where I'm sure I'm not the only artist that feels like this, where like there's meaning behind it, and it could help you get through tough times. I mean,
absolutely.
I had all kinds of bands to get me. Yeah, I had all kinds of bands and music to get me through times where I, where it was off and didn't feel well. Like, and that's how I got into playing, and that's specifically what I love about this band. Not only do I feel the music's incredible, and the four of us can really play, and it's uplifting and it's magical, but like, the lyrical content, like it doesn't get boring. Like I could sit behind and play it, and in my head it means something to me. So that matters, and I think that matters when you're playing it live. Your audience will feel that. So, yeah.
100%. 100%. Look, I agree. Everything you said is music with meaning that can take you from point A to point B, and surpass any kind of struggle because it has a meaning to you.
Yeah, I mean, look at concerts, and that's what always blew me away about live music. You go to a concert, and you have people like, and everyone's been doing different things in different walks of life, but like, with the right band and the right music, and you could unite like 50, 60,000 people standing there, and everyone bounces as one, and everyone moves as one, and each unity. Song means something to somebody else, and it's just how it should be. That's why music matters. That's why people play it.
Absolutely, it's creating unity. It's brotherhood or humanity. It's so powerful. It's so powerful.
Yeah, and for those couple hours, it's a huge release. And getting out of the day-to-day rhythm of what you're doing. Those 2 hours. That's the beauty of being in the band. Is hopefully you can do that for people. It's interesting when we have different people that will write, they'll text and, your song meant this to me, or your song meant that to me. And you're like, it's the coolest thing ever. You're like, wow, you actually touched that person. Like, they actually think your song meant something to them. Like, that's mind-blowing.
That's mind-blowing. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you mentioned something that I think is encouraging for all of us who want to leave our stamp in music in any way. And so musician wants to become a professional musician. Do you have to do other work besides your band?
Well, I mean, listen, I mean, it's a balance these days. And, you know, I don't think I'm the only one who will say this, but, you know, music's kind of free now, which is great, you know, in one way, but it also makes it tough in that it's very hard to make a living doing it, you know, and that's, I think, you know, like the rates that these streaming services pay are, you know, pretty low. You know, it's really, if you think about it, music's really the only free art form out there. And that's fine, you know, but it definitely makes it hard to become a professional musician and play in a band, you know, and go out there and get your stuff out and get it heard. But listen, it is what it is. I mean, if you know, it's very simple. If you don't make enough money to support yourself as a musician, you have to have a job. Until one day, hopefully, you don't have to. But I mean, listen, the flip side of what I said is that it is a lot easier now to get your music out than it used to be. I mean, you can record in different places. You don't have to be signed to a major label anymore. Like, you can you can record. It doesn't cost the same. You can get your music out. There's social media platforms. There's other ways to engage, which definitely make it easier. But, you know, at the same time, it's difficult, and it is what it is. This is 2022. You got to do what you got to do.
You're so right. It's so difficult to reconcile these two. And there are expenses. It's not like you were saying, but for people who are not, you know, so familiar, you know, rehearsal studios are not free, and, you know, equipment is not free, and it's really an investment. You know, it takes a big amount of passion, because everything you earn, not only to sustain yourself, a lot of the times it goes into your music as well, right?
Yeah, it does. It goes into your product. I mean, what we're trying to do is really just go more visual these days. Like, it's just, you know, it's hard to get out as live as much as we used to, especially, you know, with what's going on and everything the last few years. So, like, you know, we've been releasing music, and we've been trying to make sure to release a video for every song. So, you know, you can see who we are. You can see us playing them. We have a concept video coming out for another song that's being released in January called Sinister. So that's exciting, you know, and then we engage on social media. You know, we have our own IKONIK store, you know, so you could grab merchandise if you're interested, if you really, you know, if you're feeling the band. Yeah. But, you know, I read this somewhere, and I forgot where it is, where I read it, but I find it true. And, you know, listen, if you have the songs, you have to have the songs. That's kind of where it starts. Like, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of bands out there, but you have to have the songs, meaning, like, your songs have to be good enough. And if your songs are good enough, I feel like if you have faith and you stick to the road and you keep plowing and grinding through, like we have all these years, eventually you get heard. And that's all, you know, that's all you can do is just be prepared and make sure you have the songs.
Yeah, 100%. It's a competitive world, absolutely. And it's not only a matter of having the talent and being talented, is consistency until you get your break. And this is something I wanted to ask you about. If you want to talk a little bit about this, believe your story is very special. You had like a previous incarnation of your band with a prosperous future, and then things change, and now it's like the rebirth of it. Do you want to take us through that story? Yeah. Sure. I mean, I could talk about this for hours. I'm sure your listeners don't have the time, but I'll give you the quick version of it. But yeah, you know, we formed in the early 2000s, and you know, at that time it was different. You needed label support, and you know, we were
we were the band in New York City for a time being, and we played like all these legendary venues like CBGB's. We played there constantly. We met all these great musicians who were major bands. We played at a place called I think it was called Snitch. It was owned by Guns N' Roses. It had members of Metallica that were limited investors in it, and we would play that place every week. So we had a following in New York City. We had management. We did a battle of the bands for MTV. And we were being chased by most major record labels. But the problem that happened in those days was that was right at the beginning of the streaming revolution. And, right around that time when Tower Records went out of business and all the record labels started folding and, no one knew what to do. And it kind of threw us for a loop because, we met with record labels that were, if it was 5 years early, would have signed us to a multi-million-dollar deal. But, we were late and it didn't happen. And, for one reason or another, like it just took its toll on the band and we stopped for a bunch of years, and we always stayed close. Like we were always really great friends and we spoke all the time, but, it was just too much pressure and the band folded, unfortunately. But, we went a bunch of years, like I said, where we talked, we were always in touch. But the interesting thing is that the technology to make music in different locations wasn't really there yet. And what happened is, fast forward a few years is, like the technology caught up, and I always had these songs, and I had my friend listen to it who knew a producer who worked with Breaking Benjamin and Volbeat and some of these other, major stadium bands. He listened to the songs, he thought the songs were great. He took our old demos that were never really fixed and that were never mastered because when the band folded, it was right before we were going to release our music and our first video. He cleaned them up for a 2022 version, and that's the first record that's called Turnstile, and that's what's out there. So that was going to be our original release back in the early 2000s. So he cleaned it up, he got it out there, and it led to us playing again, and it led to these 5 new songs that we released this year. And we changed our name. Like back then, we were called Turnstile. During the time that we were, I guess, on hiatus, there was another Turnstile that came out and is having success, and they're a great band. So we changed the name to IKONIK, which we think more suits us anyway. And now, like I said, it's a full revival, and it feels great. It feels great to be able to do it on our own. I don't have to rely on a manager. I don't have to rely on record labels. I don't have to do any of that. The way we're doing it is we're keeping with the 4 of us. We're trying to build it organically, grassroots. It's all ours. And, if it's meant to be and people like the songs, it'll get out there and hopefully it goes viral. And, like you said, we can start taking the show on the road, and that would be outstanding.
That's an amazing
good story, though.
It's an amazing story.
I left out a lot. It's going to make a great movie one day. I'll tell you that.
You gotta, like it's like a movie or a book. It's really, really, really incredible story. IKONIK is a wonderful name. I like it.
Thank you. I like it.
Yeah, and I'm taking a look at this shop.ikonikmuzik, everything with case.com.
Yep.
And I like your merch. The t-shirts. There's one that I think that I'm going to buy actually because I like it a lot.
Let's go. Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Beautiful. The hoodies. It's fantastic.
And thanks for having us on again.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, John. This is an amazing story. Your band is incredible, and you have a brilliant future.
No, thank you, and I hope your listeners take a listen. I hope they like it.
I hope
and send it out to their friends. Send it out there.
Yeah, share. All right, so I always like to ask all the guests, your advice to your younger self. What do you think you would say?
Oh, that's a good one. You know what? I would say basically, stay true to who you are. Have faith in the process. It's not going to be as hard as you think it is. As I thought it was back then, I thought everything was hard. I would just say keep the faith and just trust in who you are, and everything's going to work out as it should.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yep.
And by the way, I think you mentioned you have a song talking about this exactly, right?
Yeah, that song is out right now. It's called Believe. Great song.
Wonderful. Believe.
Yep.
All right. So this was John, the amazing bassist from IKONIK, the band IKONIK.
Yes, sir.
ikonikmuzik, everything with K's. And check it out. Really, really, really fantastic. And it's also a wonderful example to not give up. Believe in yourself. Deal with deal with the roadblocks in life. There's always going to be.
There's always going to be. It's not nothing's free.
Beautiful. Okay, John, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And
thank you.
All the best. We're going to enjoy a little bit more of I Want It All. Wonderful song. Let's go.
All right, man. Thanks.
Are you tired of the typical libraries with conventional music that makes you feel meh? Introducing Leerecs.com, the music website made for and by minds like you. Our team are lifelong musicians and producers in love with music. Search the Leerecs music catalogs and find music with guaranteed originality. Mark the difference with music of signature at Leerecs.com.